Let's begin with our first story, where President William Ruto has reiterated that the country is moving in an upward trajectory towards the full revival of the economy, with inflation and interest rates significantly declining and the exchange rate stabilizing. Ruto highlighted a recent upgrade of Kenya's financial outlook by Moody's, that is a global credit agency, from negative to positive. He described the development as a demonstration of international confidence in the country's economic direction. Let's get the details with Jacqueline Macharia, that is.
Speaking at the Global Cathedral Sunday service at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, President Ruto attributed the improved economic outlook to his administration's focused reforms and fiscal discipline, which have created a favorable environment for growth and investment.
Working together, we have seen the inflation numbers come down, interest rates come down, exchange rates come down, and we have seen a great movement towards the healing of our economy so that we can proudly move together, united as a nation.
The positive rating is expected to reduce borrowing costs, encourage investment, and stimulate further economic activity. The head of state also commended the Trump administration's support for Kenya's leadership in the security mission in Haiti.
And I'm very proud that even President Trump, with the new administration, supports Kenya's mission in Haiti to help the men, women, children of that nation to experience peace and stability, and so that they too can do what other nations do.
He expressed pride in Kenya's role as a leader in global peacekeeping efforts, noting that the mission is part of Kenya's commitment to promoting peace and stability in the region. A contingent of 217 Kenya police officers arrived in Haiti last week to advance the ongoing peace-building process in the Caribbean nation.
Thank you, Jacqueline Macharia. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has alleged a scheme to remove Chief Justice Martha Koome from office and disband the Supreme Court ahead of the 2027 general election. Gachagua claims that withdrawal of Koome's security details was intended to intimidate her into resignation.
Days after Chief Justice Martha Koome claimed her security detail had been withdrawn, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has weighed in on the matter. Gachagua, who attended Sunday service at PCA in Imenti, North Meru County, claimed a plot has been hatched by some quarters to remove the Chief Justice from office.
I want to ask my sister, Lady Justice Martha Koome, don't be intimidated. Don't. Stay put. You are doing a good job. Continue making sure that this is a country of the rule of law and constitutionalism.
The scheme, Gachagua and his allies allege, is part of a grand plan to all Supreme Court judges before the 2027 polls.
It's a script ilikuwa imepangwa. Toa Rigathi Gachagua, ukishamtoa panga sasa toa Martha Koome, toa huyu. But we want to be vigilant, and we want to ask the people of Kenya to be vigilant so that the judiciary is not captured and Martha Koome is not hounded out of office.
On Saturday, Gachagua visited NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua at her Kirinyaga home, a move viewed as a political truce. The visit has elicited mixed reactions from the political class. Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy William Kabogo termed the meeting as inconsequential and urged Mount Kenya region to tone down hostility towards the government.
We should be cognizant of the fact that the government should serve us, and we must allow government to serve us. Huwezi toka kule umetoka huko ukuje ujue ulikuwa serikalini alafu uanze kusema msikae alafu.
Kabogo spoke during a Sunday service at the PCEA Murera Church in Ruiru, Kiambu County, where he also told of critics questioning his decision to join the Kenya Kwanza government.
I am called to serve the people of Kenya. I'm not called to serve Kiambu. Ndio nasema hata wale wako Kiambu waache wasiwasi. Mimi huko siko, niko kwa kuhudumia wa Kenya katika wizara ya ICT and Digital Economy.
Thank you, Giverson Maina, for that report. Azimio la Umoja party leadership appears divided on their representation in the IBC selection panel, while ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna indicated plans to replace Professor Adam Zolo because he had been appointed as a presidential advisor. Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is opposed to the replacement, arguing it might cause delays in the formation of a new electoral agency. Gishuki Washira has the details.
Barely 2 days after the High Court in Kiambu okayed the formation of the selection panel that will recruit new IEBC commissioners, the opposition Azimio One Kenya is now disagreeing on who should represent them in the panel. The bone of contention is Professor Adams Olo, whose name had been forwarded by Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party, but later was appointed by President William Ruto to his Council of Advisors. A section of Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party led by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna indicating intentions to replace Professor Olo with a more loyal Azimio member.
Kuna yule Professor Adam Alo ambaye kwa sasa yuko katika ile tume akiwakilisha sisi wana Azimio, lakini vile vile yeye ni advisor wa nani? Wa rais. Katiba na sheria inasema hauwezi ukawa na viti viwili.
Huyo profesa unayemsema Adam Zolo alichaguliwa na chama cha Azimio ndani ya bunge. Alichaguliwa wakati ambapo tulikuwa tunafanya huo mswada ndani ya bunge. Sasa vile we mwenyewe umesema tayari ndani ya chama tumeanzisha mazungumzo ya kuhakikisha kwamba tunatafuta replacement wake. We know the law.
But Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka expressed reservations over the idea of changing Azimio's representation in the selection panel, saying it might delay the formation of IBC.
Ukiniuliza, Professor Adam Zolo ni mtu ambaye namuelewa, and we have discussed this matter. I think we should give him the choice, because if now ODM begins a process ya kutafuta replacement, we are going to give these people the excuse they are looking for. Let us ask Adam Zolo akatalie mbali hiyo mamlaka amepatiwa na Ruto, aseme yeye ataenda kwa upande wa Azimio.
The names of 9 panel members nominated by 5 bodies are now expected to be submitted to President William Ruto for the appointment, and soon after they will be required to appoint commissioners within 90 days.
A look at the political watch, where Jubilee Party has proposed former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i as president and Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya as his running mate in the 2027 general election. According to Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni, there is need for the electorate in Mount Kenya to support one formidable candidate to vie for the country's top seat in 2027.
At a grassroots party popularization exercise in Narok County ahead of a recruitment drive, the Jubilee Party, led by National Chairman Torome Saitoti and Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni, announced their preferred candidates for the presidency in the 2027 polls.
Tunataka candidates kutoka jamii dogo. Hatutaki jamii candidate kutoka kwa mlima. Na watu wa mlima, mimi nawaomba, yero. Sasa si umekuja. Sisi tunaongea namna hii. Unasema sasa tukae kando kidogo.
Kioni further eyed the Mount Kenya electorate to rally behind one candidate to stand a chance of winning. Separately, Kakamega County Governor Fernandes Barasa has called for the speedy reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to pave the way for pending by-elections, boundary reviews and voter registration.
Jambo ambalo tungependa the reconstituted IEBC kufuatilizia ni mambo ya voter registration. kwa sababu kuna wanafunzi wengi, kuna vijana wengi ambao hawana vitambulisho na pia ambao wanataka kushiriki kwa uchaguzi wa 2027.
Barasa was speaking at a Malemba PAG church where he attended Sunday service. And former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga and human rights activist Maina Kiai are faulting the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja for distancing himself from the abductions witnessed in the country. The duo who spoke in Mombasa say the move by Kanja cast doubts on whether the investigations into the abduction cases will be carried out appropriately.
We're also calling the judiciary to think through what action they have to take when their decisions are disobeyed. The key one, for example, is where the courts have said the police must not wear those hoods, and they should have their identities.
Telemarco reporting. To Matters Graft, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has conducted a search operation targeting the Director of Legal Services of the Anti-Counterfeit Agency. Johnson Adera is under investigation over a multi-billion-dollar bribery scheme involving counterfeit goods. The suspect was arrested and escorted to the EACC Integrity Center, where he was interviewed and later released, pending finalization of the investigations.
According to the Anti-Graft Commission spokesperson Eric Ngumbe, preliminary investigations indicate that the senior anti-counterfeit official received a cumulative total of 40,344,619 Kenya shillings in bribes and kickbacks between the financial years 2019-2020 and 2024-2025. The kickbacks were an inducement to allow them continue their businesses unchecked and without sanctions, thereby jeopardizing the health and safety of citizens. Johnson Adera was arrested and escorted to the EACC Integrity Center, where he was interviewed and later released pending finalization of the investigations. The operation targeting the suspect's premises and the court orders yielded valuable evidentiary material that will support the finalization of the ongoing investigation. During his swearing-in, EACC Chief Executive Officer Abdi Mahmood identified corruption at service delivery points as one of the strategic areas where the Commission will intensify action due to the grave harm that bribery causes to ordinary citizens seeking services.
Many people assume that it is not worth going for for bribery cases within the public sector. From our investigations and previous interactions that we've had, we've realized that this is actually one of the key problems that is affecting our country at the moment.
Members of the public are thus being urged to remain vigilant and report such vices with the Commission, which it says endanger lives, undermine legitimate businesses and diminish public trust in regulatory institutions.
Thank you, Yusuf Farah. The Principal Secretary, State Department of Interior and Coordination of Government, that is Dr. Raymond Omolo, and his counterpart from the State Department of Forestry, Gitonga Mugambe, have warned herders against lighting fires in the wild, especially during the dry season, to avert massive destruction of vegetation and grazing lands, as witnessed in Isiolo during the past 10 days. Omolo disclosed that 2,500 hectares of grazing zones have been reduced to ashes.
Charred remains of vegetation in Chirab and Gadbatula wards in Isiolo County. The aftermath of an inferno that has been spreading in the region for close to 2 weeks. On Sunday, the Principal Secretary for Interior, Raymond Omolo, and his counterpart from Forestry, Gitonga Mugambe, visited the grazing area.
Like in this particular instance, there are about 2 or 3 people who are involved in lighting the wildfires. So we just need to encourage that we avoid having to do things like this, so that then we don't end up with the losses that we've now had to deal with.
Hiyo moto imesimwa na sasa ni kuangalia inaweza katokea wapi tena, ili wako chonjo pale wakiangalia. wananchi wametokea, wamesaidiana na agencies and they have done a very good job.
Addressing the media after the visit, Omolo disclosed that the Isiolo wildfire had reduced at least 2,500 hectares of grazing zones to ashes.
Almost 300 kilometers from Isiolo town. And it's a very vast place. We have more than 2,500 hectares. That's like 6,000 acres of land. Of course, you can imagine how massive that is in terms of land mass. The good thing is that it's an area that is sparsely populated, and therefore we've not had any loss of lives.
PS Gitonga called upon the local community members to utilize the rainy season to plant trees that will consequently help improve forest cover in the area.
In just a few days tulikuwa tunakabiliana na floods. Sasa una tunakabiliana na nini? Na moto. Na ndio tunahimiza watu tupande miti. Ili unasikia serikali tunasema 15 billion trees ni ya kuzuia manjanga kama haya. Kwa hiyo yangu ni kusema mvua ikifika namna hii, kila mtu aende na tupande miti ili tuwe tunazuia madhara kama hii tunaona.
The two leaders warned the residents of the dangers of lighting fire during this dry season, calling for collective responsibility among all community members in protecting their resources.
Kenya will host a high-level retreat meeting on African Union institutional reforms to be chaired by President William Ruto. The retreat will bring together key stakeholders, including AU heads of state and government and senior officials of the African Union Commission, to discuss and accelerate the finalization of priority reforms for a more efficient, autonomous and impactful African Union. The high-level meeting will focus on key areas including advancing AU institutional reforms to restructure AU organs, institutions and agencies to streamline operations and improve decision-making processes, enhancing financial autonomy for sustainable financing of the AU to reduce reliance on external donors. President William Ruto at State House Nairobi on Saturday reiterated his commitment to driving transformative change on the continent to strengthen the Pan-African Parliament, operationalize the African Court of Justice, and reinforce governance and accountability across AU institutions.
We have also discussed areas of cooperation, including His Excellency's participation on Monday on the assignment that I was given by the Africa Union to overlook the reform of the institutions of the Africa Union Commission, to align the Africa Union Commission together with the regional economic blocs and provide for sharing of responsibilities, the fashioning of the African Court of Justice to provide the necessary legal infrastructure and to provide a mechanism for resolving disputes.
The African Continental Free Trade Area remains a cornerstone of the continent's economic integration and development.
Realizing the importance of organizing ourselves as Africans in the Africa Union Commission so that we can position our continent appropriately to take advantage of the opportunities of the 21st century in unlocking the tremendous potential, resource potential in our continent.
The retreat will reaffirm commitments to youth and gender inclusion in AU structures and decision-making processes. 5 African heads of state have confirmed attendance, including President Umaru Sissoco Embalo of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, who is already in the country. Musa Faki Mahamat, outgoing chairperson of the African Union Commission, will also be present. The retreat is perhaps an opportunity to drum up support for Raila Odinga's candidature to the African Union Commission chairperson, with elections planned for February 2025. Of course, that particular meeting will be happening today, and we will bring you details of what transpires there. Moving on, calls for peaceful coexistence and appreciation of cultural diversity reverberated during the Joint Command and Staff College Cultural Day in Nairobi. The annual event brings together 16 countries, showcasing their different cultural cuisines and dances in the student-driven initiative, seeking to celebrate and showcase the rich cultural diversity of the participating countries. This year's theme was embracing the mosaic of cultural diversity for unity and harmony.
The Joint Command and Staff College hosted the Cultural Day, which featured 16 countries showcasing their culture. From music to cuisines and even clothing, countries took turn showcasing their cultural prowess. This event, which was themed embracing the mosaic cultural diversity for unity and harmony, saw countries, among them Rwanda, Somalia, Burundi, Uganda and Kenya take center stage in a show of cultural finesse.
If you're joining us, these are the Adikuyu from Central Kenya.
The occasion, part of Course 40 of the 2024-2025 curriculum, seeks to celebrate and showcase the rich cultural diversity by participants from the member countries while emphasizing and appreciating the role cultures play in enhancing regional peace and security. College Commandant Major General Eric Kinuthia termed the event pivotal in celebrating the strength that comes from diversity.
This has played a key role not only in development of a military force rooted in professionalism, but also in inculcating patriotism, loyalty, and love for country, but also embodies the KDF mantra of one force, mission ready.
This even as he urged the participants to not allow the differences in culture to be used as a divisive tool.
Diversity in culture, in cultural orientation, also allows us to understand the world better and therefore prevent negative intolerance and stereotyping. That is why this year's Cultural Days theme, embracing the mosaic cultural diversity for unity and harmony, is unique and speaks to the occasion.
The participants, friends and families present were further urged to collaborate and use their rich cultures to resolve and manage conflicts while safeguarding and strengthening their cultural roots.
And look at sports, where Clinton Kinanga scored a vital second-half goal to send Kenya Police back to the top of the FKF Premier League table on equal 36 points with Tusker FC, who have now dropped to the second position. Police and Tusker may, however, be separated next Saturday when they meet on their next game at the Kinoru Stadium. Gor Mahia and Kakamega Homeboys had to share the spoils after the two played to a goalless draw at the Mumia Stadium, leaving Gor Mahia on 28 points, 8 behind the leaders, while Homeboys are 5 points behind their opponents, Kogalo. Bidco United came from a goal down to draw 1-1 with Kariobangi Sharks, but remained rooted at the bottom of the table on 16 points, 4 points behind the Sharks. Bandari defeated City Stars 1-0 at the Mbaraki Stadium.
Inaletwa nani na Eric Michubu. Nafasi Jacob Yobo Nyango.
End of the bulletin this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya, and of course wishing you a very fruitful week, this being the 27th day of January 2025. I'll end the news there, but my colleague Mike Megwe is just about ready to bring you the rest of the show on Good Morning Kenya. But before that, let's get a brief look at the weather forecast.